everybody, and welcome back to another video on my channel. This year has already been full of like so many amazing books that have already come out, and it's only like halfway through February, and I realized there's just so many debuts I want to read this year because something I'm really bad at is keeping up with the new books that are coming out, helping support other debut authors, because I hopefully one day will be my own debut author and I hope people will support me. I figure you need to support the people that will also support you, right? I mean, you should be putting money into the field you're trying to go into, right? Like, does that make sense? If you watched my bullet journal video for 2019, one of my goals was to read more debuts this year, and the other day on Goodreads, I was going through these lists of these YA debuts coming out this year, and I was like, holy crap, there's so many I want to read. I need to get on this. So I figured today I'm going to go over my most anticipated YA books debuts of 2019. I do want to say a disclaimer, just because a book is or isn't on one of these lists doesn't mean it's better or worse than other books. It's just that I only went through so many Goodreads lists. There's so many amazing debuts coming out this year that I want to read, and I really wanted to condense it down into a smaller list just for a video format. I mean, honestly, the list goes on and on and on, but you're not going to watch me talk for an hour and a half about my most anticipated YA debuts of this year. So I had to dwindle it down. If you're wondering why I look like this, it's because I just got out of the shower and I'm just such a busy boy, you know, and I have to record when I can, and it just so happens that I could record right when I got out of the shower. So please excuse this disheveled look I'm have going for me tonight. I do also want to say that none of these are in any certain kind of order, not like better, I'm more anticipated for this one or that one. They're just kind of all jumbled up, including the genre, because if I was a good YouTuber like Lindsay Puckett, for instance, I would put these in like orders of like fantasies and contemporaries, but I just am not that organized. And if you want to watch Lindsay videos, you totally should. I'll link her below. She's super amazing. She's really good at these book videos, and I just am not. But I'm gonna try. One last disclaimer for this video is I'm very bad at pronouncing names, so I'm sorry if I mispronounce anyone's names. If you do know how to pronounce it, you can feel free to comment below and let me know. I always like to learn how to pronounce names because I'm very bad at it. The first book on the list is Four Dead Queens by Astrid Schulte. Schulte. This is a book, it's a fantasy about, there's like these four ruling sectors of it. Okay, I may get these slightly wrong, but I literally just read this, and I'm sorry if I mislead you. It's like the city in this fantasy world that's like, or this area that's like different sectors that are ruled by different queens, and the main character is a pickpocket, right? Yeah. Divided nation, four queens, a ruthless pickpocket, a noble messenger, and the murders that unite them. Basically, there is the pickpocket who sees the murder of all four queens in these really brutal and terrible ways, and it kind of unleashes all this mystery and whatnot. And basically, the reason why I'm anticipating this book is, first of all, look at the cover. It's beautiful. But also, I really enjoy fantasy books. I'm trying to get more back into fantasy. As I've talked about this in the past, it was something I was really into when I was younger. I read the Aragon series and like the Narnia books and like Lord of the Rings, well, The Hobbit. I never read Lord of the Rings, but I read The Hobbit. I was really into fantasy books, and then as I got older, it became a thing that I was like, adults shouldn't be into fantasy, adults should be into literary stuff. So I stopped reading fantasy. I'm trying to get more back into it. And if you don't know, I myself am trying to write a fantasy later this year, so I'm trying to like delve more into this genre and learn more about the craft of writing fantasy, because I tend to write contemporaries, and I'm super excited for just more fantasies this year. Also, on top of everything else, I love court intrigue, and I love politics, and just the thought of like four queens all being murdered at once is like, that's a lot of political intrigue that's gonna happen, right? I mean, there's gotta be something going on, right? I mean, four dead monarchs. This is Alfalfa. He's a punk trying to ruin the video. Yes, you are, you little punk. Oh, pfft. The next book is A Moral Code by Lillian Clark. I was gonna try and do this now looking at my phone. It's just not gonna happen. I'm very bad at memory things. A Moral Code by Lillian Clark. It is a book about a hacker, a sweet, sensitive boyfriend, there's an ace arrow character, MIT. Basically what it is one of the characters gets admitted to MIT, but then doesn't get the scholarship that the person wants because of finding out that their like estranged father is a millionaire or billionaire and doesn't want to give them the money. The main character devises a plot, well, one of the main characters devises a plot to hack in and steal just enough money for that character to be able to go off to college to MIT. And so I just think that sounds so good. There's a lot of different diverse rep in this book, and it just sounds super interesting, like this hacking and like the stealing of money from billionaires and stuff, and I just am for it. I love contemporaries. They're like, that's my go-to like cinnamon roll sweet spot, so super excited for this book. Also, I love the cover on this one as well, like this little like strip thing they got going on here. The next book I am super excited for is technically You Started It, which is by Lana Wood Johnson. I think I got that one right. Lana, maybe I didn't. The main character starts texting a boy. There's two boys with the same name, and she thinks she's texting one, and she's actually technically texting the other, and I think they like start to fall for it kind of thing. It seems like a really sweet, easy contemporary, light contemporary, which I really like. That's like, when I talk about like contemporaries being my cinnamon roll sweet spot, the like light contemporaries are like the icing, like the best part of it, because that's kind of what I'm aspiring to write, is like these light contemporaries. Like although I do tend to address some serious subject matter, but overall I like these light contemporaries. So I'm super excited. Also, again, look at this cover. It's so cute. Like I'm looking at it right now and you're looking at it right here, right? And it's just looks like little text bubbles, and I just love where book covers are going recently. Next is I Love You So Muchi by Theyre. So this is about a girl who goes to Kyoto for the spring break. She seizes the opportunity to get away from the disaster of her life. When she arrives in Japan, she loses herself in Kyoto's outdoor markets, art installations, and cherry blossom festivals, and meets Akira, a cute med student who moonlights as a costume mochi mascot. And I can't. Like, of all the things that I love in books, in life, mochi, like, this is the contemporary I feel like I've been waiting my entire life for. Super excited for this one. I can't, like, the cute med student who like moonlights as a mochi character, I can't. This is everything that I wanted. I mean, if you don't think that it sounds like everything you want, like, what are you, a monster? The next book, which is lacking a cover, but I'll go ahead and put that Goodreads fake cover thing up, is A River of Royal Blood by Amanda Joy. This is a North African inspired fantasy world. Two sisters, one with magic of light and persuasion, one with the magic of blood and bone, must compete in a duel to the death for the right to inherit the queendom. When I said I love political intrigue and court intrigue, I meant it. And so like the thought of like these two sisters having this like opposing magic and like fighting for the queendom and like who's gonna be queen, like obviously someone's gotta die. It's like, I don't know for sure, but like I'd like to think this is told from dual point of views, because my favorite kind of characters are the ones like you don't know who to root for. Like, do you want this girl to win or this girl to win? Like they both would be good candidates. They both have like their like ups and downs. But like this is one of the things I love about Game of Thrones. I feel like the characters are very complex. Like they're morally ambiguous, and that's what I'm hoping out of this book. I don't want it to be like so obvious that like this girl's gonna win, she's the better choice. Like I want it to be like they should both win. Like Peeta and Katniss. Spoiler alert. Next is a book that I've been following on Twitter for literally so long, and I'm so excited it's finally coming out. And this is Hot Dog Girl by Jennifer Dugan. I'm sorry again with all these last names, I'm bad. I would be a horrible teacher. It's about a girl who like is determined to have the most epic like best summer ever, and so she gets a job at a amusement park, but she gets put in the hot dog costume, and I just love that. I love anything that's set in a certain location, but especially like theme park stuff. For some reason I love theme parks like Disney and Universal. The thought of like spending a summer there, I love it. I have an idea of my own that I've had my entire life, a long time ago, that takes place at a summer theme park, and I just love it. I love the idea. And like the thought of her being anything. Apparently I'm super just into contemporary books where a character has to dress up in some kind of mascot suit, because I Love You So Muchi and Hot Dog Girl sound like they'd be friends. On top of that, I also did read online that this is an FF book. I'm like 99% sure that's correct. It says it's a coming of age queer romance. Okay, because for the most part, this description on Goodreads until you read to the very end seems a little misleading to me. And this is actually something that Katie Tastic did a video about recently, FF books not being marketed like as FF books. And I will say that I can see that happening, because until you get to the end of this, I'm just like, yeah, I think that this description is a little confusing. I actually think this one is a little more intricate than the original, because if I remember correctly, when I first read about this book, I was intrigued, but I did not know it was an FF book. And I was like, it sounds cute. I thought it was gonna be about a boy and girl falling in love, and I'm kind of excited that it's not. Next is Quarantine, a Love Story by Katie, I'm gonna butcher this last name, Katie Satali-Cook. I'm sorry. People will butcher my last name one day, I know it. It's about a boy and a girl who go to the Dominican Republic for a volunteer trip, and while they're there, they get quarantined, and they must spend 30 days living in a bubble together. And I love contemporary romances, and like the thought of like this boy and girl being trapped together inside this bubble. I'm assuming it's gonna be like a enemies to lovers, not lovers because it is young adult, enemies to like boyfriend and girlfriend. I think it's gonna go with that trope. If they like each other from the onset, like what's the 30 days like problem gonna be? And I'm fine with that. I love basically all tropes. My cat's currently climbing into a box full of bags and I can't stop him. So we're just gonna talk over him. But I just think the idea sounds so good, and I'm super excited about like this quarantine. I love the movie Bubble Boy, and they're just a bubble boy together. The bubble boy and bubble girl fall in love in a bubble world, you know? The next book on the list is House of Salt and Sorrows by Aaron A. Craig. This book is A Manor by the Sea. 12 sisters are cursed. Anna Lee lives a sheltered life at Highmore, a manor by the sea, with her sisters, their father and stepmother. Once they were 12, but loneliness fills the grand halls now that the four of the girls have lost their lives. It sounds like an Annabelle Lee retelling, which I love. Annabelle Lee, I mean, doesn't every former emo kid love Annabelle Lee? But I love the intrigue behind this like curse behind the house and like the sisters, and it just seems like kind of like creepy and atmospheric. There's supposed to be glittering balls and dancing and like silk gowns and shimmering slippers. I'm all here for it. Next book on the list is Opposite of Always by Justin A. Reynolds. Just recently watched Russian Doll, and if you haven't watched it on Netflix, you should go watch it. It's amazing. But this book actually really reminds me of that in concept. It's about a guy who meets like this girl that he falls in love with, but the day he meets her, she dies, and he starts his day back over. Now, when he goes back to save her, however, it ends up with some kind of deadly consequence for someone else he loves. So the idea is like, what do you do? And I don't know what he's gonna do, but I'm super excited to read this book because this whole like Groundhog Day Russian Doll thing, I really like this idea, and I love the idea of it being put into place in a YA book, especially about love, and so like, I'm excited for that book. Next book is Wilder Girls by Rory Power. This is about a group of girls who get quarantined in this school after a plague hits. There's a fence outside the school, and outside the fence there is like woods that's like wild and dangerous due to the plague. I'm not sure what that means. I'm thinking maybe monsters, maybe deformed animals, I don't know for sure. However, there's this group of girls just plopped into this little school, and they have to fend for themselves on this island that's surrounded by toxic masculinity, maybe? It's a plague, but now that I'm starting to piece things together, is this based on toxic masculinity? Because I would love that book. The main story starts when one of the girls goes missing, and then the main character goes outside the fence into this wilderness to find her. I believe, again, this is an FF book. The cover on this is one of the weirdest covers I've ever seen, but like it's so good. I love it. And I know I've said that like to a lot of these, but this cover in particular, like the unraveling face. I know there are some trigger warnings for this book though. So if you go to the website of, I believe it's the author or the Goodreads that links to it, there are some trigger warnings for this, including self-harm and some other things, or ideation of self-harm. You wanna read those, I did. Go read those before you pick up this book, but it's not out yet, so I mean, you have some time. But it looks amazing and it sounds amazing. Like, I love Forest Hands and Teeth, and it very much sounds like that to me. Did Lindsay Puckett say this about this book? I feel like maybe she did, because I know we talked about Forest Hands and Teeth, but I don't remember why. But it kind of gives me that vibe where it's like these people stuck in this thing and there's something on the outside. Did Lindsay, I feel like Lindsay Puckett said this, but sorry Lindsay if you're feeling this from you. I don't know how I messed that up, but that was the last book on the list for today. The video was a little kind of all over the place, and for that, I apologize, but at the same time, thank you for watching it. I love you. Go ahead and comment below with what your most anticipated books are this year. I would love to hear them because like I said, I didn't nearly get to see all the ones that are coming out this year, so I know there's some that I missed. So if there's some that you would like me to know about, definitely comment below, let me know so I can go check them out on Goodreads, because I am diving into a lot of debuts this year. That's something that's one of my goals. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, make sure you hit the like button below. If you loved the video, make sure you hit the subscribe button below. And until next time, which is gonna be Thursday with the writing vlog, I will see you all next time on Thursday. Okay, goodbye.